Okay, so this is part of my Lagrangian review. I want to do another Lagrangian equation, Lagrangian problem as part of my second semester of classical mechanics. Playlist down below. If you want the first semester, I don't know. I guess I should include that one too. But so here's the problem. Let's just jump into it. I'm not going to explain Lagrangian. Just want to use it. So here is a wire, a frictionless wire with a bead, and the shape of the wire is y equals ax squared, so it's a parabola. Some people call that a parabola, but I like to say parabola. And so we want to model the motion of this. So let's just get to it. So in Lagrangian mechanics, I can say L is T minus U, the kinetic energy minus the potential energy, and then for any variables that we have, I would say the partial of L with respect to Qi, one of the variables, minus the time derivative of the partial of L with respect to Qi dot equals 0. So Qi dot is the derivative of Qi with respect to T. We write the dot notation. Okay. So the first thing we need to think about, how many degrees of freedom do we have here? If this is just a wire in two dimensions, but the bead can only move along the wire. So it's constrained to stay on the wire. So it really only has one degree of freedom. We only need 1 degree of freedom. So now we have to pick what coordinate do we use to represent that motion. If this was a circle, you could use an angle theta, and you could use an angle theta here, but that'd be kind of fun. But we don't have to do that. You could also say, you could say that the distance s up the incline, up the wire. Again, you could do that. But what variable would completely describe the system? And I'm going to say x, right? The x value of that tells me where it is. Because if I know the x, I know the y, because I can just plug in right here. So I'm going to use x. Now you could say, well, why? Why not just use y for the variable? Well, if I know the y value, do I know the x value? No, because I know that I'd get a plus or minus. It doesn't actually tell me everything, so it's better to use x. Okay, so let's go ahead and write down the kinetic energy term. T is 1/2 m x dot squared plus y dot squared. Yes, we're going to use 1 degree of freedom. We're going to use x, but it still moves up and down, right? So we still have to include the idea that it has kinetic energy. I just want to get rid of the y. I don't want y. And that's fine. I can do that because up here, if y equals ax squared, I can take the derivative, y dot. It's going to be the derivative of this. So the derivative of ax squared is 2ax. Aha! But you also have to take the derivative of x. So I get x dot. So now y dot squared is going to be 4a squared, x dot squared. So when I can plug that in over here, t is 1/2 m x dot squared plus 4, that's a plus, 4a squared, x dot squared. And then the potential energy, U, is mgy. But why is that? So it's going to be mg a x squared. L is going to be 1/2 m x dot squared plus 4 plus 4a squared x dot squared minus mg a x squared. Now I can use the Euler-Lagrange equation to get an expression for x double dot, and that's what I want to do. Okay, so let's start up here with this. I'm going to start with the partial of L with respect to x. You can't see that. I'm pointing stuff you can't see. The partial of L with respect to x. So I'm going to just go through. I'm taking a partial derivative, so it's only things that depend on x. That's x dot doesn't count. This does count. So here I have a 1/2 m times all of that. I take the derivative of this with respect to x using the power rule. The 2 comes down, so I have 2 over 2. So I just get m, and then I get x to the 1 power. So I get m 4a squared x dot squared. That doesn't have an x, so it doesn't have a term. This does, so I get minus 2 mg ax. That's not too bad, right? Okay, now I'm going to say the partial of L with respect to x dot. and then I'll take the time derivative. So here's an x dot. And so if I take the derivative of that, I get m x dot. The 2 came down, canceled with that other 2. And then here's an x dot. Again, I get plus m for a squared x dot. And now there's no other x dots. Now I'm done with that. So now I need to take the derivative of this, the derivative with respect to time of the partial of L with respect to x dot. So this is actual derivative. So anything that depends on time have to include. So here I have mx dot. So that's just going to be mx double dot. The derivative of x dot is x double dot. Now here I have two terms. For m a squared, it's a constant, but both of these have x dependency, so I'll have to use the product rule. So let's do the x dot first. So I'm going to get plus 4m, I moved the 4, a squared, x double dot. Plus, now I'm going to keep x dot constant, take the derivative of that. So if I take the derivative of x with squared, I get a 2. So I'm going to get plus 8m a squared x dot. But then I have to take the derivative of x with respect to time. I have to use the chain rule, and that's going to be x dot. So I have 2 x dots, so it's going to be x dot squared. Now, remember I have the partial of L with respect to x minus the time derivative of the partial of L with respect to x dot is equal to 0. So since this is equal to 0, this term, which is this, has to be this term, which is that. So let's set them equal to each other. First, I think it's not too much of a stretch. I can divide both sides by m, so I don't have to write that. So let's write this as x double dot plus 4a squared x double dot plus 8a squared x dot squared equals this stuff, 4a squared x dot squared minus 2gax. Okay, I want to solve for x double dot. So I'm going to factor out the x double dot right here, and I'm going to subtract that from both sides. So I get x double dot times 1 plus 4a squared x squared equals 4a squared x dot squared minus 8a squared x dot squared minus 2gax. And you see here, these are the same terms. So I get, I can combine them together, minus 4a squared, because 4 and negative 8 is negative 4, x dot squared minus 2gax. Now I can solve for x double dot. X double dot divided by that is negative 4a squared x dot squared minus 2gax, all of that over 1 plus 4a squared x squared. Okay, let's write that again, just on a clean sheet of paper. So it's going to be x double dot is negative 4a squared x dot squared minus 2gax, all of that over 1 plus 4a squared x squared. Okay, I think you could simplify this some, but I just don't really want to. But we should check to make sure that we're on the right track, right? Because I need to make sure my units are right. Remember, y equals a x squared. So x is in meters, y is in meters. So a has units of 1 over meters, because I have to multiply it by meters squared to get meters. So here I have x dot squared. So x dot is meters per second. So it's meters squared per second squared times meters is meters squared per second squared, and then times 1 over meters squared. So I get 1 over second squared. Let's do this one. I think I should get, let's see, let's start down here in the bottom. So here I have meter squared, and then 1 over, so this is unitless on the bottom, right? Which is good because I'm adding it to 1. So this has no units on the bottom, so that's good. So here I have, let me write this out. I have 1 over meters squared, then I have meters, and then I have meters squared per second squared. So this is going to be, okay, this is meters per second squared. So that's good. And that's what this is too. Okay. And then over here I have G is meters per second squared. And then I have 1 over meters times meters. So again, so the units all work out in terms of acceleration. Now let's plot this. So we're going to use a numerical calculation in Python, and I'm going to use a delta t of 0.01 seconds. During that time, I'll assume x double dot's constant, such that x double dot is delta x dot over delta t, which is x2 dot minus x1 dot over delta. I'm going through this fast because I just did it in my last video too. So this gives me x2 dot equals x1 dot plus x double dot delta t. So if I know the x double dot, which I can calculate, and I know the starting velocity, I can find the velocity at the end of the time interval. I can do the same thing by assuming x dot's constant, delta x over delta t, which is x2 minus x1 over delta t. And then I can use that to find x2 is x1 plus x dot 2 delta t, because I just calculated it. And then I can update time, t equals t2, t1 plus delta t, and then do the whole thing over again. So I can model the motion of this, and we're going to do that in Python. We do need to pick some values. I need a value for a, I need a value for x1 dot, I need a value for x1. Right, I need to know the initial conditions. So let's just pick those. Let's say a is 0.5, x1 is 0.1, x1 dot is 0, and g is 9.8. Okay, let's jump over to Python and build this. It'd be good practice. Python. Okay, so I have it up here. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay, I like big. So let's make a graph. G1 equals graph. Title equals parabola. You can type whatever you want, right? You don't have to be, you can have fun. I'm going to plot a trajectory. I'm going to plot x versus y. So the x title is going to be equal to x in meters, and the y title is going to be equal to y in meters. Now, the other thing I like to do is give it a size. Width equals 400, height equals 200. Otherwise, it doesn't look great. Now I'm going to make a curve. F1 is G curve. Color equals. If you need some help on graphing in WebVPython GlowScript, just let me know. Text it down below. Put a comment down below. I'll make another video. I have tutorials, but I'll make a new one. If there's something you don't know, let me know. Color dot blue. That just makes the line blue. And then dot equals true is going to move a dot. So I can actually make a three-dimensional plot, right? X and Y, but you can see time with the dot moving. It'll be fun. Okay, now I need my parameters. A equals 0.5. G equals 9.8. X equals 0.1. X dot equals 0. And I don't need the labels on there, right? T equals 0, dt equals 0.01. Let's run this for 4 seconds while t is less than 4. Rate 100. So this says don't do more than 100 loops every second. So it will take 4 seconds to run so I can see that dot moving back and forth. So the number one thing is to calculate x double dot. So I'm going to say x d dot equals. Now, I'm going to use my equation right there. I'm going to type in that equation. So I'm going to get -4 times a squared times x dot squared minus 2 times g times a times x, all of that divided by 1 plus 4 times a squared times x squared. Now with that, I can update my velocity. X dot equals x dot plus x double dot times dt. And with that, I can update my position. x equals x plus x dot times dt. Now I need to update time, but I'm actually going to plot it first. F1 dot plot xy. Remember, I'm making a trajectory. T equals t plus dt. I will give you the code down below, even though this is not very long. Let's run it, and there's an error. Can't find y. Aha! Because I didn't do that, right? I said plot y, but I never told what y was. So actually, I need to, if I want to plot y, I need to calculate y. So I'm going to say y equals a times x squared. Now it should run. So remember, I started at x equals positive number, and it's just going to oscillate back and forth. Very nice. I like it. Okay, let's save this. Well, it's the Lagrangian parabola wire. So let's plot x as a function of time, just for fun. So I'm going to change this x title to t in seconds, and the y title to x. And then down here, all I do is plot tx. And I'm pretty sure it should be a cosine function, because the parabola, the potential energy, is 1/2 kx squared, right? So it's the same. I'm pretty sure it's the same as a mass oscillating on a spring, and that's what that looks like. So there you go. But really, it was practice using constraints and doing Lagrangian. So hopefully you're back up to speed with Lagrangian. We're going to do some more crazy, awesome Lagrangian stuff, and that's that. So the playlist down below. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'm here.